Sentire Media.
Ciao a tutti and welcome to Venice Talks, a podcast series dedicated to Venice in Italy. I'm your host, Monica Cesarato, a Venetian food and travel blogger. Join me as I share my insider knowledge to help you explore Venice at 360 degrees. In this weekly podcast, we'll dive into the heart of a city, uncovering hidden stories and connecting with the people who make Venice unique. The artisans, the writers, the fashion designers, the bloggers, the journalists, and more. Let's break free from cliché and discover the true essence of Venice, not just the monuments, but the vibrant people, the Venetians. Experience Venice the right sustainable way. You can find me on my blog at www.monicacesarato.com and across all social media platforms. Enjoy the episode and let's journey through Venice together. You know how Venice can completely steal your heart, but also make your head spin when you try to plan a trip here? So many places to see, so many things to skip, it can get confusing very fast. That is why I started my new Venice consultation service. It is just you and me having a Zoom chat, planning your visit together. I will help you find the real spots, the ones locals actually love, so you can enjoy Venice without the stress. And hey, I still want to hear your voice. Send me a short audio clip, maximum 2 minutes, and tell me what you loved most about the city. Maybe it's a sound, a taste, a moment that stayed with you. I might feature your message in one of the next episodes. Just email it to info@monicacesarato.com. Let's keep sharing our Venice, one story, one voice at a time. Season 3, Episode 18. Hi everybody and welcome back to Venice Talks. It's been a while, so I'm back finally, and I'm back not with one, not with two, but with 3 guests to introduce again, because it's already past 1 year, the Venice Noir Film Festival. The Venice Noir Book Festival. I was already going for the film, guys, okay? Hi, Philip. Hi, David. And hi, Gregory. How are you guys?
Great. Good morning, Monica. Lovely to talk to you again.
Very well, Thank you, Monica.
I'm very well, Monica. Lovely to be back.
So, it's Philip Gwynne Jones, David Hewson, and Gregory Dowling. You are the minds, the founders of this beautiful festival that started last year. I spoke to David last year about it. So I'm going to start with David, of course, because I know he was really the mind. How did the idea for the Venice Noir Festival came to life, David?
I think we'd been drinking, to be honest.
As you do in Venice?
Well, it has been known. It has been known. We did these little events, and through Studium, the wonderful bookstore, and Sylvia Bandolina, who runs Studium, is lovely because she's kind of this mother hen figure who follows you around afterwards and says, I'd get this phone call saying, David, what are we going to do this year? And then we went a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And then this year, the 3 of us just said, let's just do a proper festival. Mm-hmm. And it kind of started like that, really. It was we just felt that Venice was a great place to do a festival like this, and that it would be very popular and be fun to do. It was as simple as that, really. I can't say there was an extensive business plan or anything, which may come as a surprise, or perhaps not.
Philip, what is the main mission of a festival?
The main mission of the festival has changed a little bit because last year we did have a kind of a Venice Noir 0.0. We knew that for this year we were going to have proper Italian involvement with Italian writers, and we've managed to do that. We've got a fantastic lineup of Italian writers. It's about celebrating the city as a place of inspiration. We feel very strongly that it should be seen as a Venetian festival and not just a bunch of foreign guys coming in and setting up another festival, because Venice has plenty of those. We feel very strongly that this should be a Venetian festival accessible to Venetians, which is, all events are free. Anybody can just drop in any time. Mm-hmm. And certainly there was a need this year. We did have Italian writers last year, but they were all on English language panels. This year it's much more 50-50. Mm-hmm. And it very much is a strong Italian involvement. So it's celebrating the best in international crime writing and the best in Italian crime writing. And I think that's pretty much what we're trying to do.
Gregory, how do you decide which authors and voices fits within the festival?
That's a big question.
Well, listen, Philip the other day explained to me that David is the chief, and you and Philip are the committee. So
Yes,
you were in charge of choosing, I suppose, right?
Well, David and Philip have much more experience than me with book festivals, because they go regularly to the various crime festivals in Great Britain, and maybe elsewhere as well. And so I think they are the ones who are more in touch with the authors. I mean, I met the authors, most of the authors from the last festival, I met for the first time at the festival. So I can't really claim to have made any great contributions with regard to suggesting. I may have suggested, I may have been the one who suggested last year Matteo Strukel, name.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I would say most of them were contacted by David and Philip.
Okay, then I change. I turn the question to David then. How did you decide which authors and voices you wanted in the festival then?
Well, this is like the first year, so we had to be very practical about it because we needed people. We haven't got any money, we couldn't pay them. We couldn't pay travel. We got a few hotel rooms that we could use, but I needed people who were willing to trust us that we were going to happen, pay their own way here, and be a part of it. And to do that, I had to use people that I knew. I mean, the very first name I thought of, I knew we needed a big name. It was very obvious we needed a big name. And I immediately thought of Ian Rankin, because he's a lovely guy. He's a very good performer at festivals. He's the biggest crime writer in the UK. And he loves Italy because we've talked about Italy in the past. And I just dropped Ian an email. It must have been about last November when we were thinking about it. And I said, look, we're thinking of doing this thing. I can't give you exact dates. We can't pay your travel. We can't give you a fee.
You just got to do it volunteering.
We might be able to, but usually authors are so good at selling things, and I sent this off to him. And after I sent it, I thought, maybe I could have done that a bit better. Ian got back to me literally within 10 minutes. Literally 10 minutes after I sent that email, he came straight back and said, it would be an honor to be there.
Oh, wow.
And that was, that's Ian. But, we needed that big name. And then the other authors around that, I mean, we discussed the kind of topics that we were going to do. And I tried to find people who were willing to come out and trust us to be able to do it. And most people did. I mean, there were people who just said, well, we'll see how it goes in future years and things like that. But we've got a very mixed bunch of UK writers that I've seen and worked with in festivals over the years, and Philip has seen most of them as well. So we got a good mix. But in the very first year, we had to use people who were willing to trust us and work with us. Now, it may be different next year, where we can actually, be more specific about what we want. But I'm not even thinking about next year yet. But this year, we just had to be practical and build a program out of a small number of writers who are willing to come out under their own steam and take part. And we're very grateful to all the ones who've done that.
How did you get to choose the Italian ones then, Philip? Was the Libreria Studium, which collaborates with you, that did that, or did you know some of them?
Some of them I have met, but not at a level where I could say, hey, do you want to come to a festival? So I remember we were all sitting around in Studium and kicking around ideas for people that we might like to see. And I made a few suggestions. Some of them, sadly, weren't really practical for various reasons. But then Studium came back and they said, well, we've got Lucarelli, we've got Cataldo. And I thought, well, that's it immediately. We've got some of the biggest hitters in Italian writing there. So I thought, there you go. Great. You've got these guys. You've got these people. That'll be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Poet and novelist Andrea Molazzini was a great help. He was contacted by the Libreria Studium. So he helped put together the list of Italian writers.
Right. Okay. And Philip, sorry, Gregory, what challenges did you face in creating a festival like this in Venice? A city that has already got so many events going, like just this week, past two in one go. I mean, no, three, because there's a marathon, the Venice Cocktail Week and the Venice Fashion Week. How hard was it? I mean, I know, but I want to hear it from you guys.
Yes, well, obviously there's so much going on in Venice, and the first problem is that of finding a venue. In our previous years, the first year we used the English church. Sorry, this was sort of This was one occasion when it was just four authors: David, myself, Tom Benjamin, and Philip. And the Anglican Church at San Vio offered the space for us to basically have a conversation with the audience. The next year after that, we wanted to go bigger, and so this you might say the pre-festival. Venice Noir Year Zero took place at Santa Polonia in a good space, but maybe not as large as we're going to need now. And so this year we've been very lucky to get the Ateneo Veneto,
which is massive and is beautiful, and it's got also other rooms.
Two rooms basically as well, which we can have things going downstairs and upstairs, and then the spaces of the Hotel Monaco.
That's really
one of the interesting points about the Ateneo Veneto was of course the school, the Impicai, that is, it looked after those condemned prisoners who were going to be executed, and so it's a suitable venue.
Perfect.
For a fiction festival.
Perfect. It was like a sign from the gods. David, the word noir can mean many things: psychological darkness, moral ambiguity, atmosphere. How do you define Venetian noir?
Very vaguely, I think. I think it embraces everything from books to poetry to drama to painting. It's about creativity that takes a hard and frank look at life and doesn't kind of gild the lily, as we say. Venice is a great venue to do something like that because it is an extraordinarily beautiful place, but there are elements of Venetian history that are very dark indeed. So I think it's something, I don't think we need to sort of put down on paper what it actually means. I think people get it. But, if you say that Ian Rankin's noir, if you say that some of the paintings in the Accademia are very noir, obviously some of the operas are very noir. It's about life and death and love and sex and all the rest of it.
Of course, the alternative could have been Venice Giallo, but that would have puzzled most English speakers.
It would.
And it would have sounded nice.
Doesn't translate
anyway.
very well.
Yeah. I mean, Venice Frilla Bastille wouldn't have gone. No. I think he actually just has the right sound. And I repeat, we should also add Venice Noir Film Festival. I mean, you should do it at the same time as you do the books, maybe have some screening of old films or something like that next year. Like some, Don't Look Now and stuff like that. Philip, many crime film festival. Sorry, I got it on for films, guys. Let's see, I just got it on my head. So many crime festivals are set in big cities like London, Edinburgh, Oslo. What makes Venice such a unique stage for a noir gathering, in your opinion?
I think you only have to look at it. I mean, I am still chair of the Crime Cymru Festival in Aberystwyth, which is a seaside town in Wales. So they don't necessarily have to be in big spaces. Harrogate is set in a smallish town, for example. But Venice, when you say to people, hey, we're organising a crime festival in Venice, it's surprisingly easy to get people to volunteer to come along. And it is.
Well, it's Venice.
And beyond the surface beauty of the city, I mean, this is a city which is incredibly safe. The level of violent crime in the city is extremely low. But if you walk around at night, it doesn't feel like that. If you get a little bit lost at night and you find yourself in one of these narrow calli, and you find that it's a blank wall at the end. And if you hear footsteps behind you, all of a sudden, the whole atmosphere of the city just changes, and it feels very noir, I think is the best way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think even in the days where it's foggy, it's just
yes,
that
absolutely.
feeling. It's not just when it's dark. And in the rain as well sometimes. It's like, it's a bit...
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Well, we all know Venice. You can't get more, dramatic than a city like Venice. David, where do you see the festival 5 years from now?
I think one of the big challenges we face is to define the identity of the festival. I mean, we know that we want it to be international, so it's going to be 50-50 Italian-English, and with other European authors. But we need to be different. Everything about Venice has to be unique. So we can't copy huge festivals like Harrogate, much as they've been very helpful to us as partners. And I think that we're a boutique festival. We are not trying to get thousands of people here. We're trying to create a community around books of this kind, where readers and writers, communicate. And I think it needs to really work on that boutique side of things, so that we're doing panels that are totally different from other festivals. I mean, I've done millions of festivals, an awful lot of festivals over the years, and a lot of them are very, very similar. And Philip will know this. You have the same subjects for panels, and everybody gives the same answers. And we're trying to do things very differently, which is why, we have the trial of Casanova is one session in there. We're talking about Don't Look Now. We're doing things that other festivals wouldn't. And I think we really need to make that a part of the offering, so that in 5 years' time, people say, okay, I'll go to Venice Noir, and that will be quite unlike any other festival in the world. And it won't be huge, and I'll meet people I know there. It'll be very talkative and very friendly. So that I think is where we want to go. I mean, it's not going to be a mass market event. I don't think that would fit with the spirit of Venice, to be honest.
Well, that's actually what I was going to ask you, actually, guys, and I'll ask Gregory. Aren't you worried as well about that you're going to contribute in a way to bring over tourism, or maybe this is the antidote, as in you promoting a small event? What do you think, Greg? Because you live a city longer than these guys, I suppose, because you've been here longer than me myself, actually.
That's a very good point, Monica. In fact, when I first mentioned to my wife that we were thinking of setting up this festival, and she said, "Oh, just what Venice needs, another festival."
I love it.
Well, as David said, we're not aiming to bring in thousands or hundreds of thousands of people, and we want this event to have a specific focus. And I think one of the things that will distinguish it from maybe the other crime festivals is that there will always remain a certain emphasis on Venice itself. Okay, this year, as we said, we've got the trial of Casanova, we've got Don't Look Now, and I think that will be one of the specific elements that will distinguish this, because there are so many of us as writers. We have written books set in Venice, and we're interested in Venetian history. So I think another thing that, for example, last year we had, you might almost say, a kind of academic side in which we investigated the murder of the Medici.
Yes.
And I think this is something I think we want to cultivate as we go ahead. Maybe we can even, David suggested that maybe next year we could have a panel on The Merchant of Venice, which, in its way is also a crime story. There is a trial in it, etc. And I think, these aspects might help to distinguish us just from, big commercial exercises.
David, do you imagine adding workshops, maybe like screenwriting and, I don't know, digital storytelling to go with the theme?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Actually, we have talked about that, and
See, I told you should get me on the organizing panel. I told
yeah.
you.
Well, I mean, we couldn't possibly do it this year because
No, of course not. Of course.
we are absolutely overloaded with work this year already, and we need to find more volunteers if we're going to expand into things like that. But yeah, we could do like a day of tuition for people who want to learn to write, telling them how publishing works, how agents work, and things like that. It's a very common, popular thing to do at festivals, and it's one way of raising some money. And we certainly do need to raise some money to do some of the things we want to do if we're going to stay free. But yeah, I think there are lots of options. There are lots of things we can do, but we need to be careful about being overstretched and overambitious, because we're limited by the small number of people who are involved at the moment. We need to create better kind of background administration systems to make sure things run more smoothly in the future. I think I think there's a huge potential for lots of different things. As you say, a film festival, a kind of masterclass session. We could do all of these things, but the heart of it still has to be the festival itself.
Yes.
And we need to focus on getting that right before we do anything else, I suspect.
And I think also you got to be really careful, because having seen what happened to previous events in Venice, that, as you were saying before, you go too big and then it goes out of your hand, and the nature, how it was born, changes completely. Is not what you started with, and then it becomes just, if you eventually can make it, a money making machine. We've seen it with the Carnival, we've seen it with Redentore, we see with every other event that started in Venice. So I get what you're saying, and I appreciate that. Do the majority of people that come as authors this year have published books that are set in Venice, or they are just generally in the noir theme? Anybody can answer.
Okay, I'll answer. Looking at the British writers, the international writers, a large number of them do have a strong connection with novels being set in Venice. S.E. Fox, for example, is going to be here. David Bishop, D.V. Bishop, his latest novel is set in Venice. And of course, myself, Tom Benjamin, okay, not set in Venice, but set in Bologna, which isn't a million miles away. So there is very much this year a very strong emphasis on Venice or Italian crime. The challenge for us going forwards, I think, is going to be finding sufficient writers who fit that mold, and we might have to look beyond that, because there are only so many writers, and there are only so many writers setting books set in Venice or even set in Italy. So,
yeah, also because, sorry, at the moment, you don't have, for example, Americans, do you? You just have Europeans, right?
We don't have any Americans this year. If David Baldacci would like to travel, I'd be delighted to see him here. But
yeah, it's not easy also because it's not cheap to come and stay here.
Well, that is the problem with with American visitors, is it's a lot more expensive for them to come, and we can't give them airfares.
Of course.
But I mean, the attractions of Venice are there. So if people are over on a book tour or something already in Europe, then maybe we can get them in like that. But those are problems for another year.
Now, to you guys, what are you planning for your books? How are you doing? Who's coming out with new books at the moment? Any of the three of you?
Well, my Sicilian novel, The Magus of Sicily, came out in hardback about 3 months ago. And I'm currently working on, next year we go back to Venice with a book called The Venetian Redemption. So you can guess what time of year that's set at. And yes. So I'm hoping to get that delivered to my editor before the festival starts, so then I can actually relax a little bit, perhaps. So,
David?
Well, my Venice book has just come out, The Four Deadly Seasons, and that's out in ebook and print, and very soon will be an audio book with Richard Armitage.
Wow.
And that is set. The background to it is Vivaldi, as the title suggests. It's to do with the mysteries of Vivaldi's career, why he turned from being the rock star of Europe in 1730 to almost destitute and dying in Vienna 10 years later and unknown. And the fact that his music basically vanished for nearly 2 centuries until it was accidentally rediscovered. So that is the background to the story, but it's a modern contemporary mystery about somebody who thinks they've found Vivaldi's real memoirs and the original score for the Four Seasons, which has never been found. And Arnold Clover, my protagonist, has to kind of work out if this is for real or not. And there's quite a big conspiracy going on behind all that. It's a lot of fun to write and research, and it takes place over the 4 seasons. So it starts in April and finishes the following April, and is divided as the 4 seasons are. So it was a fun book to write.
Cool. Greg, you finally retired. Are you actually coming out with something yet?
Well, now is the time for me to really get back to it. I mean, I've been spending a lot of time on matters to do with Byron because I've been
I know
in Ravenna. But I do want to get back to fiction writing, and I am now working on a new Alvise Marangon novel.
The listener are going to go, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So, by the way, I might have asked you in all the other interviews, I don't remember. Is any of you guys been actually translated it into Italian?
Yeah, 2 of mine are.
Okay.
My first 2 Nathan Sutherland books were translated by Newton Compton, quite nice hardback editions. They did okay. Unfortunately, the publisher was acquired by another publisher, and a lot of foreign writers were kind of let go. And unfortunately, I was one of the ones that they didn't continue with. It's kind of difficult. I mean, I do understand, like, why would Italians want to read crime fiction set in Italy by stranieri when they have an army of writers?
No, wait. What? No, wait. You don't exactly write by living somewhere else. You live here, so why not?
I get that, but it's I think perhaps as a name on a jacket, maybe I should have used a pseudonym or something.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Filippo,
I was
Filippo something.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, I have to say, I was delighted. My wife was in. I think she was in Palm one day in Mestre, and she rang me and she says, there's a table here of books, and your book is on a table in a supermarket. And I thought, wow, this is pretty good. Yeah.
I know, it feels good, doesn't it?
So there were only 2, but I'm glad we have got those 2. Yeah.
So, David, have you been translated or not?
I have been over the years. The current books aren't translated. I would like them to be. I mean, I've talked to my Italian agent, and she always says that, as Philip said, that Italian publishers aren't keen on taking books set in Italy written by non-Italians. There's just this feeling that it won't work. Whereas my books are doing very well in German, where they're actually published by an Italian publisher, which is slightly odd. Well, Folio is sort of divided between Bolzano and Vienna, but we all speak Italian when I go there. So the translation market is very odd and very kind of quixotic. You never know whether it's going to happen or not. Yeah. And if it does happen, you never know whether it's going to take off. I mean, I think my books do very well in Bulgaria.
Yeah. Isn't it sad though? Isn't it sad? I mean, I think I don't know. I just think it's very sad. It should, because I see when people write to me, says, "Oh, can I get your book in this language?" I go, "No, not yet. The publisher hasn't decided to publish it yet." And you go like, "I did translate it. It's there ready to go. It just doesn't want to do it." It's a bit sad. Anyway, guys.
Sorry, I was going to. Oh.
Yes, go on, Greg. Sorry.
I was going to just say that just one of my novels has been translated into Italian, and that's when it was my second novel, which is set in Naples.
Okay.
And it was published by a small Neapolitan press, actually, that had a line in books about Naples by foreign authors.
You kidding me? That is so cool.
Maybe I think they may have liked the title as well, because the title was "See Naples and Kill."
Yeah, obviously we loved it.
Vedi Napoli e poi spara.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Oh, I didn't know you got translated. Oh, good.
Oh, and of course, Gregory's gone the other way as well in translating some Italian crime novels into English.
Yeah. Of course, yeah. That's yeah. But you talk about it during the conference, didn't you, last year about this, didn't you?
Yes, that was mentioned. Yeah.
So, I'll go to the chief here. David, when is Venice Noir? Where and how can people book to come to the events? Because I recommend to book.
Yeah, we'd like you to book. I mean, it is free, but it helps us plan and manage the attendance. It's very simple. Go to venicenoir.com and you will see the program. And next to each event, there's a thing, I think it says subscribe for some reason, but if you hit on that, you get to an Eventbrite page where you can just make a reservation. It runs from November the 14th, Friday, through to the 16th. We do have a couple of paid for events, two of which I'm afraid are sold out. One is a cocktail evening with Ian Rankin and me at Capizani. The other is a cocktail evening with Philip and Gregory at the Hotel Experimental, which I think still has a few tickets left, if I'm right. Is that correct?
Possibly. They're up to 30 sales, which is pretty much the maximum we can get in there.
Okay.
But you never know.
Okay.
Drop them a line, and we can only see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the one paid for event that is still left, and I think there are still some tickets, I'm not sure how many, is that on the Friday night, we have a dinner at Cadidio, where most of our authors, our English language authors, will be there hosting a table. So basically, it's a very friendly Prosecco reception, followed by what I'm sure will be a very nice dinner, and you'll be able to chat to authors and mingle and just generally have a decent evening. That is the one paid for thing that I know we still have some spaces left. In terms of the panels, I think, it's a big place as the Ateneo. I think there will be room if you just turn up on the day, but it would be good if you could just actually book through the website and the Eventbrite things to give us an idea of numbers.
Can you just drop some names of the people that's gonna be, those that you remember that are gonna be on 3 days? The offer, apart from you three guys, of course.
Oh, well, there's us. There's Ian Rankin, obviously. We've got John Bleasdale, who's a film writer from local, but he writes for Variety, and he's met any number of film stars. And he will be leading the panel on Don't Look Now. We have Lisa Hilton, who's both a historian and an author and a part-time Venice resident. We have Essie Fox, whose book this year is about Byron in Venice. As Philip mentioned, we have D.V. Bishop, who's an award-winning historical crime writer with a series that's normally set in Florence, but his latest book is set in Venice. We have Erin Kelly, who's a very popular UK crime writer, who's currently writing a book set in Venice. And we have Anna Mazzola, who is half Italian and is published in Italian, and was this year won the prize for the best crime novel of the year.
Oh wow! I didn't know she did. Oh wow!
So we got a very interesting mix there. Oh, and also we've got Barbara Nadell, who's wonderful. And Barbara wrote this series set in Istanbul, which I think is up to about 26 series, and that has recently been on TV as the Istanbul Detective. So we've got a real mix of writers who have different backgrounds, different kinds of books, and we'll be talking about everything from, how do you write about a foreign country when you're from somewhere else? There will be a panel on food and drink, what role that plays in Italian books, and there's a panel just about Venice, which is about how Venice is portrayed, which will have a few of us talking about how Venice is portrayed, and we'll have Alberto Tosofei on that panel to tell us where we've got it all wrong.
So I'm telling you now, for that day, expect the Ateneo packed, because Alberto always comes with his fun. It's got tons of women following, so prepare yourself.
Well, his books, I've cited him as a reference in at least two of my books, because, his work is just fantastic. So I'm just really glad that, we've got him there, because he's going to be a real asset.
And he's really fun, and he's a great, he's going to be the moderator, yes?
No, I'm going to moderate that one.
Oh, you're going to moderate. He's going to be one of in the panel. Oh, that's even more interesting.
Again, we're doing these things differently. We have what I think you call a participating moderator. So the moderator doesn't just sit there asking questions of each person or other. It's part of the conversation. And really, I think these things work best when the audience thinks they're watching a bunch of interesting people have a conversation. They're eavesdropping on that conversation. So, we'll see how it goes. But that's my approach when I'm doing that job.
Cool. I'm gonna love it because I'm definitely coming for that one. I'm there. It's the first one I booked, and then everything else. But I booked that mainly because I was also interested about the theme, the idea of using, that you discussing the use of Venice in books. I love that. I really love that. Anyway, guys, I can't wait to see you in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks, whatever it is, and I'm so happy you're, over drinks you managed to organize this great event. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you, Monica.
Yeah, thank you, Monica. It's been a pleasure.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
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 Thank you again, David, Gregory, and Philip, for all the information about Venice Noir. You can find everything about it on www.venicenoir.it. Thank you again for listening. Venice Talks podcast is a production of Sentire Media, created, produced, and hosted by me, Monica Cesarato. Follow Venice Talks wherever you get your podcast, and if you want to book a food tour or a cooking experience with me, you can find me over at www.monicacesarato.com and on all social medias with the handle @MonicaCesarato, where you can follow my adventures around Venice. And don't forget, if you love this episode, please rate it and leave a review. It's very much appreciated.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.